This is the new iPhone Air in sky blue for $999. Let's unbox it and share my first impression and see if it's a must-have. Welcome to The Honest Take. No hype, no bias, just the truth to help you decide. Let's take a look at what we have inside the box. We already know what to expect, and it's essentially just this. Pretty much every iPhone includes this USB-C cable and the standard warranty guide. Now, let's get our first proper look at the edges. This thing is striking, let me tell you. I examined all the available colors. I was initially drawn to the sky blue, reminiscent of the MacBook Air, which looks amazing. But I believe this color is also a fantastic choice. It's not just the marketing color. I genuinely compared them all. Please subscribe and like the video to support the channel. The black, to me, doesn't let the phone's design shine as much. The white feels a bit overdone, and the gold wasn't my favorite. So, I settled on this one. Let's go ahead and take this wrapping off. As you can see and hear, it's a fairly standard unboxing sound. Now, let's power it on. My first impression is that the lightness is incredible for the screen size. You're looking at a 6.5-inch display on a remarkably thin phone. The closest competitor I can think of would be the Galaxy S25 Edge, which we'll look at later. Apple has been talking up its Fusion camera. While it looks like a single lens, their processing allows them to crop the sensor for a bit more zoom. We'll have to see how that performs in real-world use. Please subscribe and like the video to support the channel. Honestly, I don't foresee a major issue with a single camera, as it's usually the primary, highest quality lens anyway. And I think it gives the back a clean look. Let me know your thoughts. It's a beautiful phone, I'd say. Alright, we're now set up in the Apple iPhone Air. On the front, you have a 6.5-inch screen, a size we haven't seen on an iPhone for several years. To me, this feels like a real sweet spot, offering a large display without the bulk of a bigger model. One potential downside is battery life, as a smaller physical size likely means a smaller battery capacity compared to an iPhone 17 Pro Max or other models. We'll see how it holds up, but it should be enough for most people's average day with a top-up when needed. Let's check the settings to see the out-of-eye storage. Like others I've seen, it's taking about 30 gigabytes. Keep in mind, if you get one from this first shipping batch, it will need a software update right away, as they didn't ship with the final iOS 26 build. Now, let's look at the camera. You can set up photographic styles here, choosing from standard or customizing the tone. I leave it on standard for testing to ensure natural results. In the camera app, you'll notice there's no ultra-wide lens. If you love ultra-wide shots, this phone makes a sacrifice. For zoom, you can go up to 10x, which is respectable for most people who prioritize the thin design. For video, you have 4K at 60 or 24 FPS, along with time-lapse and slow motion. The good news is, you still get the center stage feature for the front-facing camera, which is the same 18-megapixel sensor found in other models. Big deal for selfies and video calls. Let's dive into the camera settings. You can record video up to 4K 60. Under formats, you can choose between 24 and 12 megapixel modes. The Fusion camera lets you switch between 1x and 1.4x, offering 28mm and 35mm equivalents. However, you won't find Pro modes or ProRAID W formats here. For that, you need an iPhone Pro. If you're a photography pro, go for the Pro Max. But for me, I'd probably be okay with this single camera to enjoy the super thin design. Perhaps the next iPhone Air will feature a dual camera if they can fit it in the Galaxy S25. Edge manages it and is still thin. Let's get some close-up shots of this new design. They've returned to a shiny finish on the titanium sides, which will attract fingerprints. It will be least noticeable on the silver model. I'm not sure I'm a fan. I prefer the fingerprint-resistant finishes, but some may find this shinier look more premium. You can see the small antenna lines, the action button, volume rockers, and a small plateau housing components. At the bottom, They've crammed in the USB-C port, a power button, and a camera control. This phone is striking. One thing to note, I believe it has a single speaker, which might not be as loud as others, and you only see 2 microphone holes. But if you're after a minimalist, clean, ultra-thin, lightweight, large-screened phone, Apple has finally delivered. I'm personally impressed. It feels fresh in a lineup that has felt repetitive. I prefer this over the old Plus models, mainly because they had 60 Hz displays. I wonder how many people would have liked a Plus version of the standard iPhone 17, as it seems like great value. Let me know your thoughts on that. Finally, let's check the wallpapers. Under Add New Wallpaper, you have the standard iOS 26 set, plus a specific pack for the iPhone Air. I am not a huge fan of the Air S included pack. Think the Pro ones look a bit neater, but here they are. You can set them and be on your way. This one actually looks pretty good with the icon contrast. It feels pretty secure to hold. And you might be wondering if it's this thin, is it cheap or easy to bend? The structure actually feels very solid. I'm not about to try and bend my iPhone Air, but in hand, it feels robust. As I'm applying a little pressure, I don't feel too worried about it. It seems to have a pretty solid, reinforced frame. Now, let's compare it directly to the larger model in the lineup, the iPhone 17 Pro Max. You can see the Pro Max is your typical, powerful slab of a phone. Meanwhile, the Air is just completely different. Look at how much thinner this is. It's a dramatic difference. These two are clearly made for totally different customers. So, let me know which style you prefer down below. Please subscribe and like the video to support the channel. Thanks for watching.